I'll tell you what, this match reaction is going to be a bit of a mixed bag. All right. Let's start off with the positives. United, 3 points. United, a clean sheet. A win against Newcastle. That goal from Dorgu. The performances from Heaven, from Martinez, from United's box defending. Good. United in that second half. Man, did we invite Newcastle forward? And I'm telling you, a better Newcastle team gets a result from that game. But they didn't. And Ruben Amorim, right, so much is said about, will he change the system? He won't. Right? Only the Pope can make me change. AFCON's happened. And like, this is the thing I would say. We were without Bruno today, Mainu, Ahmad and Bumo, Maguire, De Ligt, a lot of Mazraoui as well. Most of them would probably have started that game. We shifted to a completely different system. And in that first half, it didn't feel like we played incredible, but we looked pretty comfortable. And I don't think we needed to be any more than that. And it worked. And in the second half, whoop, we went in on ourselves. We were deep as hell. And I expected United to concede because that's what we've done this season. We don't keep clean sheets. But we did there today. And I'll tell you what, how's that for a little Boxing Day present? We're still at that stage of kind of where we are. We're a mid-table team. I know people sort of have a go at me for saying that, but that's pretty much what United are. 1 week, you get a result. The next week, you don't. That was a huge win. That was a win that United grinded out in that second half. Now, I want to speak about some individuals, man, because Dorgu is a player that has been heavily criticised, and I think fairly so because I don't think he's particularly developed since we signed him from Lecce. But with that switch in system, with the back four, and Dorgu going up to the right wing position, which he actually played at Lecce quite a few times, he looks significantly more comfortable. And for a player who I've questioned the technical qualities of Dorgu, I don't think the work rate has ever been questioned, the athleticism has never been questioned, but the final output has been questioned, the crosses into the box, the technical side of the game. Oh, never mind. Just go and score an absolute worldie of a finish. Left foot volley, controlled it, focused on the ball, a great goal. Well done to Patrick Dorgu. He's taken lots of criticism, but he deserves praise there tonight. And you could argue that he was man of the match, but I actually agree with Gary Neville. Aiden Heaven, right? Remember what he did against West Ham, came in, was really aggressive, got the early yellow card and was taken off at half-time. But that's his 5th Premier League game starting in the centre of Manchester United's defence. Was he 18, 19? One of the two. He was fantastic tonight. And I think he was man of the match. Because United were defending our box so deeply in that second half. And that's probably what I'm going to come back to as well as the overall opinion of that game. That was a result that United needed, a result that United got, and with a very depleted squad and with changes that happened. But the way we played in that second half, I didn't enjoy it. Didn't really enjoy any part of that second half. I'm sure you will agree with that as well. Martinez, seeing him nearly complete 90 minutes. But somebody speak to me, right? What I would say about Amorim's subs in that second half, it felt like some of them were kind of needless. Like, we weren't expending tons of energy. We weren't getting run through in the middle of the park. So to bring Casemiro off and to put Yoro on at right back and then to play Delo at right wing, I was like, how's that going to help United get out? And look, man, every time the ball went up to Xerxes, it bounced off and it came back. And that forced United to be pinned in our own half. Presumably he got taken off because of a fitness. I hope that Mount didn't get injured. I'm guessing Mount got injured. That's the only reason he would have gone off at half-time. But Heaven, well done to him. That was a very mature performance. That's what I would call it. But yeah, Martinez going off towards the end. And then Shaw going off towards the end. And then Fredrickson coming on. And Malacia coming on. I don't know how many defenders we ended that game with. But we got the result. If I'm going to compliment Amorim, I'm going to say the system change worked. United had, it looked like quite a traditional shape, really. Almost like a 4-2-3-1. Dorgu was wide. Was it Cunha or was it Mount who was wide? I think it was Cunha who was wide. And then Šeško up top. Newcastle, I expected them to really... I expected a lot more from Newcastle today. I'll be totally honest. I thought they were very passive. Any time that Martinez and Heaven had the ball on the halfway line in the first half, they weren't really pressing. I thought that's why I've always hated playing Newcastle. But because we played that system change, I'm not sure if you saw it, but a lot of the game, Dorgu was tucking in quite tight when he was in a defensive role. And it was kind of flooding the midfield and forcing Newcastle to go wide towards Gordon, who pretty awful in the first half, better in the second half. And Murphy, who put in a couple of good crosses. And can I say this as well? I'm sure you enjoyed this. just seeing your goalkeeper coming out and just claiming a cross. It feels like such a basic thing in football. But Senny did that, and we needed that. That's what that game feels like today. From how we played in that first half, it kind of felt like we had Newcastle at arm's length. That's a Newcastle team who are capable of playing great this season, but then capable of being awful. They were, when I say there for the taking, that game never really had a mad pace about it, which is how I remember watching United and Newcastle, and maybe that sort of suited us. But to see United play the way that we did in the second half, it felt instructional, didn't it? And given that prior to that game there, given that we've only kept one clean sheet this season, it was a big old risk. But it was a risk, I suppose, that pays off. Heaven, man of the match. Martinez played well. We defended our box well. Look, you know what? My overall opinion from that game, given the players that we have missing, this AFCON period where Ahmad and Mbumo are gone, and that's our whole right-hand side. When it comes to attacking threat, so much has gone through that side. We're going to have to play different. And we did a system shift. And Dorgu looks so much more comfortable, natural, playing in that right wing position rather than playing in a left wing back position. And I suppose it worked. And who have we got next? We've got Wolves at Old Trafford. That should be United winning that game, but I'm not going to say anything because of what happened against West Ham, against Everton. But it was a big shift of system. Is that something that United are doing right now and Amorim is doing right now because we're going through AFCON? You know what it feels like to me? It's kind of both things at the same time. It feels like United needed to change the system. And because Ahmed and Mbumo have gone to AFCON, I think Amorim spoke about this before. He said he kind of didn't want to put the system out the window because then it would kind of undermine himself and say, well, if you're throwing your principles out, then I'm going to question you as a manager. And that's what players might do. But now, because we're in AFCON, we have to change. And it worked, but it was stinky in that second half. I'm sure you watched most of that half through your fingers. That's what I did. Tonight was a game where United just tried to grind out the result. And for only the second time this season, because Sunderland on Le Mans' debut was the first time we kept a clean sheet. It worked. We got the clean sheet. We got the 3 points. We beat Newcastle. We're up to 5th now. United have got to build on what we saw maybe in the first half, but in the second half, I don't want to see that from United largely. I do not want to see United dropping. And every time the ball goes to Xerxes, who was our only outlet at that point in time, he was just getting out-muscled and the ball came back. We were pinned in our own half. But to be fair, to Heaven, to Martinez and to that defence, and to Le Mans, they did it. They got the clean sheet. And 3 points, come on. I'm taking that. But it was far from perfect.